Okay, so I gotta say, there's no worse feeling. There are worse feelings, obviously. There are a lot worse things out there, and the world is a bit of a mess. However, today and actually last few weeks, there's this little thing that I can't stand. I just created a video, right? Just created a video of 8 minutes talking about football and how I started my football academy. And then when I was trying to send it and obviously put everything together to send it to the platforms, what happened is I had a message saying, "Oh, the phone doesn't have enough storage." So I decided to delete some videos. But silly me, I deleted the video that I just created. So yeah, that was pretty horrible. And actually, the other day, I was trying to create a presentation for my UEFA C course, so I can complete it. And my laptop, the battery broke, so I can't charge my laptop anymore. When I was almost finished, so now I have to do it with my PC, my home PC. Isn't there? I think students out there and people that have to do presentations and work. Isn't there a worse feeling than that? Like trying to save something, trying to do something, and then it's like the world is telling you no, 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 or basically God is telling you no. You know what? You need to redo it and make it better. So here I am again. I would say a bit frustrated, but it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I don't know why I coughed. It's a blessing that I have to do it again. And I want to talk about the Football Academy and some of the challenges that I face while having a Football Academy. One of the challenges is parents having funding for their kids. So obviously, if you have children that play football or any kind of sport, you have to sort of fund their activities unless they get it for free, unless they have a scholarship, or unless maybe they're in football academy or a professional environment where everything is paid for because they have sponsors. However, not everyone is that blessed with the right connections, the right skills, and they have to develop those. So they have to pay, and that is a challenge because when I used to be in a sort of semi-professional setting from 14 to 16, I didn't have to pay anything in Portugal. Actually, even before that, I have never paid for football in Portugal to actually develop my skills. I played for a team called Benfica de Castelo Branco, which is a team in Castelo Branco, which is an area. So that team I never had to pay for, as far as I can tell. I'll just go work my socks off to try and get to the team, develop my skills, and yeah. After that, I went to a different team in Lisbon, played against teams like Benfica, Belenenses, but I didn't have to pay nothing, right? I'm sure that my parents, well, they knew I was going football. I was going by myself to on the bus every time to try and get to football training, and we used to train 2, 3 times a week. And the team was at a really low level at the time. We didn't even have grass pitch. So the difference in Portugal, and I think many other European countries, is you as a kid you don't really have to pay for football because the teams that are in the regional leagues, maybe national leagues, they end up playing against high level teams, and I think they just get like sponsorships, funding from the government, and they're well organized to try and achieve, help those players to maybe achieve success in something, maybe get scouted by a bigger team, pay for their pass. But it's very different over here. And I spoke to another person in Holland. They played for some very high level Dutch teams. However, they say the same thing. They never had to pay for anything. They just go and they play, and they train, and they train 2, 3 times a week. They have the space, and the place is kitted out the same as in Portugal. Even if it's a lower level team, they'll have physiotherapists, they'll have everything ready. But in here in the UK, you have grassroots, and not all grassroots teams are well organized and they struggle. So if you have the capability, the opportunity to go and play outside of the UK, right, it will be a different ball game because you don't really have grassroots teams. You just have like maybe friends or players in the park, but you just have teams that are well organized. That you go and you train and you try to trial for the team. You try to make the team. But in the UK, Started Football Academy tried to do similar concept. However, parents do have to pay for players, and obviously the idea is to play against football academies. We played against the Talent ID, Leicester City. We went to a Birmingham City trial. However, I find that in the UK, especially at this age, and even myself, I didn't put enough effort in trying to push the physical and like fitness, stamina, endurance, things like that. It's something that you only see at MJPL level and I think academy level, where players are constantly working. So they might work 3 to 5 days a week, maybe 2 to 3 days a week on training sessions. However, before that, you don't see that level of work like when it comes to grassroots teams because they focus on the technical side, maybe the physical side, but the endurance to play at a high tempo is very hard. So right now I joined the MJPL with the team, and I realized that it is very difficult because they don't have the fitness capability to run for the whole 80, 90, 70 minutes, whatever it is, and they struggle hard because they can maybe do 20, 30 minutes at a high tempo and then they slow down. So this is something that is important for every child that wants to be a football player. You need to do 10K runs at least once a week, at least. If you want to play a high level competition, I'm not talking about like Olympics or run track or whatever. I'm not talking about that. In football, you have to have a day that you're running at least minimum one day running 5 to 10K. Yeah, because if you don't do that, you will not be ready for even if you have the technical skill, even if you have the tactical ability, do you understand the game? Unless you can play by yourself, sitting in the same space without running back and forth too much. Maybe you can handle it. Maybe as a center back, you don't have to run all the way forward unless you go for a corner. But as a center mid, attacking mid, wingers, strikers, you need to run. That's why I find fullbacks as well. Fullbacks are always going back and forward. You need to run, and you need to. I mean, if you're playing in the park or Sunday league, it's different. But if you're playing Saturday league, it will have to be high tempo. And if you don't do those runs, if you don't do the 5K, 10K runs, you will not make it in football as even semi-pro. Semi-pro level now is pretty high in the UK. In UK, yes, is about like sprints, running, strength, hard tackles. But if you want to play a high level, you will see that there are times you'll sprint forward, the team will go forward, then they'll have to track back. Center backs, not so much maybe from what I see. They obviously they don't have to go all the way forward, like I said, unless it's a corner or a free kick and they want to go for the header and then they have to sprint back. But usually it's a little bit easier on the fitness side for center backs. But I'm just saying, just make sure that you work on that every week. As a 12 to 16-year-old, you need to start doing those runs with or without a ball. I don't care. Just do 5 to 10K runs. That's like 15 laps, maybe 15, 20 laps. Well, 15 is like 5K, but if you do 30 laps around a whole pitch, you need to do that. Or go to the park, just run for an hour. You need to do that because it will change your game. Even if you do it at a low tempo, if you run slowly at a low tempo, it will change your game. Before, when I was like 14, 15, my coach used to make me run 10 laps around the whole pitch before I even started training because he wanted my fitness to be at high. My legs were finished. Like the preseason, the trainings were always very hard, but I always felt really good. So make sure you work on your stamina, make sure you work on your endurance, make sure you work on yourself. Don't just think about the technical ability because if you can only do 20, 30 minutes of dribbling pass plays and some nice skills, and you don't track back, you will not make it. I mean, obviously some players do make it like that. You have some examples of players that just want to go forward, they don't track back to defend, but they are very good going forward. So yeah, just think about that. Just a thought. Have a nice day. Take care. See you soon.